Hi, I'm Andrew, Fat Produce on the interwebs. I'm here to talk about dual screen phones, specifically my LG V60 and how I use it and how useful it really is. Why don't we step in? So, a lot of people say that dual screen phones really aren't comparable to foldables, or they view them as an intermediary step. In some ways, yes, I can definitely agree. However, you have a mindset difference when it comes to using a dual screen phone like an LG V60 or Velvet or whatnot or G8X versus a true foldable. For one, I view these as more along the lines of having two separate monitors. There's I can get stuff done on both sides of it. Multitask, of course, which is the main thing that people like to do. I've found some ways to actually customize this to get the most out of these dual screen setup. For example, everyone knows now, unfortunately, LG didn't tell anyone, that you have active pen and stylus support. My good friend Juan Bagnell, aka SomeGadgetGuy, was nice enough to get me one of these, and I kind of use it. It's great. However, the downside to this is that there's no place to store this. Well, one thing that I found, and this was actually from someone on Reddit, Two Spirits actually had a great idea of actually getting the Surface stylus loop and putting on it. He originally had it on the back. However, it just doesn't adhere as much on the back. So I ended up getting two stylus loops. Of course, one of them is not black because thanks eBay. But I slide the pen in there on the front because once it's on the front, it doesn't affect how wide the phone is, which is nice. Then I also ended up getting I have someone I know someone who has a Silhouette Cameo machine, and we ended up cutting a skin for the front, which also helps too because before the LG Velvet, they decided to have glass on the front, which was kind of a poor mistake in my opinion. But it's good though; it works well, and I basically got a note in my pocket. This thing is a giant chunk of a phone with this dual screen case, and so you know what? If you're going to use it, you might as well go all the way for it. There's one big thing that I think LG does need to address with this is their gamepad support. So their gamepad is actually really quite good in terms of how it functions. You can customize these however you want. You can also set presets with it, which is great. However, one thing that they really need to do, especially since this is a new thing that they're diving into, which is these dual screen gamepad setup, is they need to take a page from the Steam Links or Steam Controller's book. Now, Steam Controller wasn't hugely successful. However, the reason why they managed to take hold is because of custom profiles. So, whenever the Steam Controller first came out, it was reviewers generally said that it was difficult to set up and took time, more time than some people might have patience for. Well, with that being said, that was mitigated significantly after the first round of people had purchased these and had exported their profiles for certain games with this. So essentially, anyone else now can go download those profiles and tweak them to their heart's content without having to start from scratch every time. And this has really helped keep the Steam controller alive. Well, the problem is LG, the gamepad, does not have any of that custom exportable or importable custom profile support. So even if I upgraded from this to the change to the LG Velvet, I'd have to reset everything from scratch again, which is, in my opinion, kind of an oversight. They really need to address that if they want this to take hold and become popular because it lowers the barrier for entry, and that was the initial problem that the Steam controller had, and they never recovered from that in the mind share. And LG needs to do that too. Hopefully they'll do that going forward, but that's something that I think would help them significantly if they are dedicated to the dual screen side of things. Apart from that, it's mainly multitasking I do. There was a podcast that I watched called the Across the Pondcast with Sam and Matt that you guys should check out. It's very good, but one thing that they ended up doing is they broadcast on YouTube and Twitch. Well, I could pull up YouTube on one side and then Twitch on the other side for the live chats, and I could actually be active in both live chats at the same time on my mobile phone while I'm casting one of them up to the television, and it was spectacular. It was great. So in that case, also, I think that's the strongest use case. One of the strongest use cases for the dual screen is just generally multitasking. And I really think that that is something that people shouldn't stick their nose up at, because it does change how I use my phone. The fact that this is a giant chunk, also, and the fact that it's a folio case, I really need to make sure that what I'm going to be doing on my phone is something that's purposeful, because having it all the way around the back isn't ideal, and generally it helps me be more efficient with what I'm doing on my phone, because when I choose to open my phone, I am doing it with a purpose in mind rather than just absentmindedly opening it and browsing. So at least that's my use case scenario. If it turns out you guys use it for different stuff or have different uses for the dual screen, let me know in there. If it turns out you don't have any uses for it, let me know too in the comments. But yeah, this is an interesting foray into the future, and it's something that I feel should be noted in its gutsy approach and refined approach that they've been doing. So this is I'm Andrew, aka Fat Produce on the interwebs, and yeah, this is the LG V60 dual screen case, and yeah, I will catch you guys later.